Hey, question 8, a real banker this one. Find f -1 of x, i.e. find the inverse. Maybe just worth pointing out what an inverse is. An inverse is a reflection along the y equals x line, the 45-degree line. So if I've got a function, I don't know, it could be doing something like this. Well, the inverse would be doing the exact same, but reflected along that line. So maybe it's doing something like, try and do this properly. Yeah, maybe something like that. So if that's y is equal to f of x, then this would be, I don't know, well, I'll just call it f of x. Oh no, just f of x. There we go. Sorry. So call that f of x, and I'll call that f -1x. And also, what does that mean? Well, if you've got a point on here, say that point is 2, 3. Well, the same point is going to pop up over here as 3, 2. The x and the y's get mixed up. Okay, so they get flipped around. So just a little thought. And the one that pops up a lot is obviously that the log is the inverse of the exponential. Exponential doing something like this, a log doing something like that. So that pops up a lot as well. So we've got a log, base a, b, whatever, and then we've got an e exponential function up here. Okay, so yeah, let's have a go at this one, finding the inverse. So we've got a function f of x. So I would just say that I've got my function, so it's y. F of x is just a fancy way of saying y effectively, if you want to think on it like that. Plus 8, and we're going to rearrange to make x the subject. So BODMAS in reverse, so I'm taking away 8. That's the cube root of x. And then I'll cube this side. That's equal to my x. And at this point, we have to just rewrite it as f to the -1x is equal to x, take away 8, cubed. I cannot believe there's 3 marks for that in a higher paper. Truly the easiest 3 marks you're going to get. And the way you'll not get those marks is to forget to change the x and y back, or to not understand what the question's asking, because when you see this, it sounds very complicated, but really it's saying rewrite the equation with x and y round the other way. Some people instantly start off with this is x and this is y and work their way back to y. You can do that if you want. But the point is, you're rearranging the equation to make the other variable the subject. So, if that was 2 and this was 3, we've now just made it 3 equals, the 2, whatever. Okay, so we've just modeled it up like that. Fantastic. And the next one is talking about the domain for this function. That sounds a wee bit trickier, but let's have a think. So our first function, so this function here, we said the domain, I'll put it like this. So the domain for this one was between 1 and 1,000 for the first one. Okay. Now the domain is the input, and the range would be the output. Right. So the range would be like this state of y's, wouldn't it? Right. Now, if we are doing the inverse, the range and the domain then flip about. So for this one, this would be the new range. It'd be 1, less than or equal to, that would be y and 1,000. Okay. So do you know what I mean? Like the domain switches to the range for this function in the same way that the range is gonna flip to the domain for this one. Okay. So let's figure out what this range would be then. All right. Well, the range would be just substituting in these numbers. Right. If I put in 1 to this, I'm going to get 1 cube root, so 1 plus 8, so it's going to be 9. So the lowest number, I think we're 9. And then 1,000, put 1,000 in there, cube root of 1,000 is 10, and 10 plus 8 would be 18. Right? So my range is between 9 and 18. So I can write that down here and say, well, my new domain, my new x value has to be between 18 and 9. That's the new domain for this one, because it was the old range. Okay, so I think that's a tiny bit mean, really. They usually ask about what number would cause this to break down. What are the restrictions on the domain? But this one's asking effectively for you to really read the question and understand that the range for this function is now the domain for this, in the same way that the domain for the old function will be the range for the new function. Okay. So yeah, I hope that is helpful.